What's up and welcome. This is me, you, and Switch 2. I am me, Tom Tates, and you are you. So let's talk about Switch 2. This is the latest and greatest Nintendo Switch 2 news brought to you every Tuesday and Friday in super short and sweet 5 to 10 minute episodes. It is Friday. Thankfully, it is Friday. It is November 21st. This actually is episode 50. It's the big 50. Super excited. Thank you to everyone who has joined and listened along to any episodes along the way. I'm going to keep things going. Super pumped to kind of enter into the next 50. I had the craziest week. I hope that your week was better than mine. So on Tuesday morning, I was driving for work. It was very early. It was like 7 a.m. at this point, maybe even 6:30. I was 2 to 2.5 hours away from my house. I'm going 65 miles per hour on the highway, not too many cars around me, and my sunroof spontaneously shattered over my head. It was absolutely insane. I am totally fine. I didn't get injured, thankfully. But that initial kind of WTH moment really kind of revved up my fight or flight system. I was able to get to where I was going and clean things up a little bit. Of course, I had to deal with more glass cleanup when I got home and insurance and all that stuff. It'll be a few weeks before I get everything repaired. But all that to say, drive safe because anything can happen when you're driving fast. Just like in the recently released Nintendo Switch 2 game, Kirby Air Riders. I'm really sorry. I couldn't resist that segue, but I promise you the story about my sunroof really did happen, and I'm still dealing with it this week, so I didn't make that up. Kirby Air Riders released yesterday, November 20th. It is, at its core, a racing game. I'm sure you've seen some coverage on this at some point. Maybe you are familiar with the GameCube game that it is a sequel to. It was created by Masahiro Sakurai, who we know to be behind all of the Super Smash Brothers titles as well. So you know kind of the breadth and depth that comes with his games. This game has 18 courses. 9 of them are new. 9 of them are returning. You can choose up to 20 machines. Those are kind of your carts, if we're thinking about this in Mario Kart terms. Those are your vehicles. There's about 20 characters that you can choose in the game, and I'm sure there are unlockable characters along the way as well. Machines kind of accelerate automatically while you control just steering, gliding, drifting, and attacking using only the analog stick and a single button. So you have a single brake/boost button that you use. So this controls are super simple, right? They take practice to really master though. And especially because the different machines and riders, they handle in unique ways, and you can have unique combinations of machines and riders. So all that said, you can go as surface level or as deep as you want with this game. There's, your typical racing modes. There's a simplified top-down racing mode as well too. Kind of gave me like an RC Pro-Am feel, to be honest. City Trial is your battle mode where you build up upgrades for your machine and then you battle it out with, I think, up to 16 players in different mini games. There is Road Trip, which is a story mode, which has an actual narrative arc that you can follow, similar to the Smash Brothers games. And there are just a ton of unlockables and upgrades. I think I read in one review there was 750 achievements that you can unlock in this game or something ridiculous like that. So if you haven't been following along, there's been 2 lengthy Nintendo Directs showcasing this game. And there were 2 weekends of open demos to try it out. And my family, we sat down and we tried this game out. The reviews have been generally very positive so far. So IGN's Logan Plant said that Kirby Air Riders is totally bizarre, and I love it for that. This unexpected sequel to a niche single-button GameCube racer makes a significant leap forward. In fact, the improvement from Air Ride on GameCube to Air Riders on Switch 2 is so huge, it feels like jumping straight from Smash 64 to Ultimate with no sequels in between. And he gave it an 8 out of 10. Polygon's Julia Lee wrote, Kirby Air Riders is a chaotically whimsical nod to an easier time. And she also wrote, there are many moments where the game gets out of control, which could be a good or bad thing, depending on how much you like to smash into walls. And when I was playing this game during the test event, this was my general reaction as well, too. It was just controlled chaos, and I didn't know what was happening. half the time that I was playing, but I was still enjoying it. And I just assumed that the more I played, the more I would get a feel for it. Nintendo Insider's Ryan Janes gave it a 9 out of 10. PJ Riley at Nintendo Life gave it an 8 out of 10. The Joys in PJ's review looks and sounds fantastic in docked and handheld. Plenty of modes, tons of mini games, and some brilliant tracks. Lots of unlockable riders and machines to get busy learning with. Top soundtrack packed full of classic bangers. Racing at the heart of it all has depth amidst all the chaos and excellent performance. Just a few cons. There's a learning curve, so be aware. The chaotic nature of races is a lot starting out, and some UI aspects in local multiplayer could be clearer. And Nintendo Life is really good about this. They put out a review roundup. But honestly, all of the reviews are pretty similar for this one. They all sound a bit samey. I'm expecting the Metroid Prime 4 reviews to be a little bit more diverse, just having slightly different opinions across the board. I feel like everyone felt the same way about Kirby Air Riders, but I will drop the link in the notes if you want to check out the review roundup. So I'm happy to see this game is out. I think we're going to get it at some point. We're not going to get it at launch here. This might be a Christmas game for us, but we are also just weeks away from Nintendo's next big game, which is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which we covered in the last episode with their final previews. So lots to be excited for. Other games that were released this week: SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide is available on Switch 2. That released on the 18th for $40. This is a 3D platformer, fully voiced by the original cast of the show, which I think is great. Tomb Raider Definitive Edition Shadow dropped this week. It's on sale for $17.99. This is actually a 2013 PS3 Xbox 360 game. This is the Tomb Raider reboot from that era with enhanced graphics. The Definitive Edition released on PS4 in 2014. So this game is 11 years old, 12 years old. But if you haven't played this one, you can now play it on Switch 2. Brotato, a top-down shooter. I guess you could call this one of those Survivors-like games, like Vampire Survivors. This released a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. It's a free upgrade if you own the Switch 1 version. Otherwise, it's $5. We talked about Squirrel with a Gun a couple episodes back. It actually released this week. It's on sale for $17.99. I haven't seen any reviews or heard anything about this, but it is out today, or it is out now. A game called Punyan for Nintendo Switch 2 released as well, which looks like the watermelon or Suika game, if you're familiar with that, where you merge fruits together. Except this game, here's the twist, is with Japanese cats. It's $6.99. It's available in the eShop today. And we had a few headlines this week of games that are coming soon. Ease X, that's YS, that's how you pronounce Ease. Ease X Proud Nordics will be available on Nintendo Switch 2 on February 20th, 2026. I've never played an Ease game, but one of my favorite podcasters is a huge fan, so this has always been on my list. So I'm always looking for the right entry point. I don't know if this is going to be it, but we'll see. Dave the Diver is getting a physical release on Switch 2 in 2026. No specific date yet. We will keep an eye on that, but it will also include the Jungle DLC. So that'll be kind of the full package for Dave the Diver when we get that. Reanimal is a new game from the creators of Little Nightmares and Little Nightmares 2. It is a co-op horror game, and I guess no coincidence, it will land on Friday the 13th, February 13th, 2026 on Switch 2. There's a new game called Outbound. This is a self-proclaimed cozy Vival adventure like no other. Cozy Vival being a new one for me. I guess that means a cozy survival game. So we'll have to wait and see kind of if this ends up being a game worth playing. It will release sometime in spring 2026. Interesting art style. A lot of crafting, it seems. So we'll keep an eye on Outbound. There's a detailed preview of Dragon Quest VII Reimagined over at IGN. I'll link to that in the show notes. That'll release in February 2026 as well. Looking very solid. It is not that HD 2D look. It's got a very interesting art style. So I'm excited for this one. In other news, honestly, I haven't been following the Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC scene too much. Once I beat the game, I kind of put it aside. But if you're into the Emerald Rush DLC, there's an event that starts next week that lets you play for the chance to get in-game statues of Chunky Kong and Lanky Kong from Donkey Kong 64. I think the way it works is you have this new area, DK Island, I think it's called, where you can show off your statues and other things. And then for my friends up north, Nintendo Canada will be out at select Costco locations tomorrow, November 22nd, with a playable kiosk to experience Switch 2. So if you haven't played Switch 2 yet, and you happen to live in Canada, and you also have a Costco membership, and just saying this out loud right now, I'm realizing that probably doesn't fit my average listener, but I love Canada and I love Costco, so I just had to share that news. There's a link in the notes with the exact times and locations if you want to go play Switch 2 this weekend at Costco. Plenty of new videos up on Nintendo's YouTube channel if you're looking for something to spend some time with this weekend. PGA Tour 2K25 announcement trailer, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition launch trailer, SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide launch trailer, Daemon X Machina, Titanic Scion Into the Abyss video is up as well. We're over the 11-minute mark. I'm trying so hard to keep it short. That's it for today. I have a new personal goal too I want to share with you because it is episode 50. I want to eventually, not anytime soon, but I want to eventually hit the top 250 charts of Apple Podcasts in the video game category. I know that this is incredibly ambitious, so a kind rating or review on Apple Podcasts will help with visibility. Subscribing and listening helps too. If you listen somewhere else, that's fine. I listen to all my podcasts on Pocket Casts, right? I'm not going to switch to Apple anytime soon, so that's fine. Sharing with a family member, a friend, a Discord server, subreddit, all of that goes even further. Super helpful. Doing nothing is fine too. I just appreciate that you're here. I appreciate your time and your attention and listening each week. Head on over to switch2pod.com for show notes and all the links to the things. I hope that you have an awesome weekend. Much love. Now go play some games.